Hey, it's Clay Trader at claytrader.com. In this video, I want to just do some exposing. It's one of those things where I've kind of had enough of it, and it's not even close to being anything helpful at all. So I'm going to call somebody out, and it is what it is. You'll see that there's quite a bit of interest in this topic. But first, I just want to set some kind of overall context, and let's just talk some facts here. First off, I like pumpers, I like promoters, I like the analysts that you see on TV. They are great. I have nothing against them at all. Why is that the case? Well, pumpers, promoters, analysts that you see on TV that are upgrading, downgrading, all that stuff, they cause prices to move and volume to increase. And as a trader, that's what we want. If there's no volume, then you can't trade, and it is what it is. It's just you need volume, and that's where pumpers, promoters, analysts all come in. So I don't have any problem with pumpers or anything like that. Not at all. But what I do have a problem with is the pumpers who pump, make all sorts of claims, and then they present no tradable opportunities. What do I mean by tradable opportunities? Well, to be able to actually make some money, have a realistic chance at making money, but more so just walking the walk. I mean, this particular person talks a big game, and then when it's time to perform, it's quite frankly a joke. So this hurts us all, and that's why I'm just finally going to make the video. And if I can save even one person some money, then I'm going to consider this time well spent. And the reason it hurts us all, though, is because it sucks money directly out of the market. The less money, especially if you're looking at things from a penny stock perspective, there's barely enough volume in penny stocks to begin with. So the quicker and quicker money gets sucked out of it, just the more difficult it becomes. Now, some people said, well, why are you even wasting your time? Everybody knows about him already. Well, if that's really the case, then why is he still getting volume on his plays? Not everybody knows about him, and just because you know about him, doesn't mean that everybody else does. And my goal here is that when people are doing their DD, doing their due diligence on him, hopefully this video somehow pops up, whether it be in a search engine or on the social media, and somebody go, wow, okay, this is dangerous. Like I said, if I can save one person money, then to me, this is all well worth it. And I want you to take note, I'm not going to use generalizations. I'm not making broad statements or assumptions. I'm going to use all facts. And in fact, in my opinion, the best type of fact, mathematics. So the pumper at hand is Big Money Mike. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe you have not. But I want to get out of the way. It's nothing personal. There's no way I would ever waste my time with any of this if there wasn't any type of true interest out there. So I asked on Twitter this morning, just if you would, like me to do this, video on, Big Money Mike and how he pumps and dumps, then to either retweet or like. And you can see that the response was quite favorable. What was that? About 74 people favorited it, 40 people retweeted it, and kind of the kicker here is that this tweet was only up for a couple of hours. So I'm sure if I left it up for just a single day, these numbers would only have continued to grow and grow. So again, this tweet was only up for a couple hours, and you can see the response. So there's plenty of interest out there. There's plenty of people that have probably been burned, and it's one of those things where a lot of people wanted me to cover this, so here we are. So let's set some more context before we get to the case studies. I want you to notice two things. So who exactly is Big Money Mike going after? Well, what I see right away is, look at this, newbies. Now, why would he be going after people that are new? Well, the rest will, that'll kind of self-explain itself as we go through. And then just one of the other things that kind of makes me scratch my head is, what's up with the email? For someone who makes people bow down to him, and that's his words, not mine, this is odd. Not to mention his name is Big Money Mike. Big money. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm, way out in, outer space here. But if somebody has big money, you would think they would be able to afford an email domain, like bigmoneymike.com, something like that. But this person is just simply using a Gmail. So if you're new and watching this, that's a huge red flag right there. If somebody's saying, hey, sign up for my list to get hot picks or whatever, and they're using at Yahoo, at Gmail, at Hotmail, it's take that as a clue, huh? If this person is so great as they proclaim, why can't they afford to go build a website, pay $10 at GoDaddy and get a website built? So just one of those things. And then of course over here, haters are good for evolutionary purposes. They force you to bring your A game. So I will be fair. Let's see if he's got A game. Prove them dead wrong. Hey, maybe I will be proven wrong and bow down, or make them bow down to daddy. So I don't know. Maybe he will make me bow down, make us all bow down and call him daddy. But, we'll see. Let's talk some more context and facts. If you've come across him on Twitter, then I'm sure your eyes have been drawn to the followers at this point, 1.44 million. So let's make some favorable assumptions. Again, I don't want to make any generalizations. I don't want to make any assumptions. We need to use math because numbers don't lie. So let's break down some math here. So he's got 1.4 million followers. Now let's make two assumptions, and they're both going to be favorable. They're going to both be in his favor. You know what? We'll err on the side of caution in favor of Big Money Mike. So let's just say that 5 out of every 100 people listen to him. Now that's only 5%. It's pretty modest, right? I mean, he says he's the king, he's Big Money Mike. It should be way higher than this, but let's just say only 5 out of every 100 people listen to him, so 5% of his followers actually listen. Now when they do listen, they put $15 into a ticker. Now you're probably saying, wait a second, that makes no sense. With commissions, why would anybody just put $15 into a ticker? Hey, I agree, it makes no sense, but let's just go with it. Let's just say they've only put $15 into a ticker. Well, the math here, 5% of 1.44 million followers is 72,000 people. And if each of those 72,000 people put $15 each into one of his, hot stock picks, then the Big Money Mike number is $1.08 million. That's the math there. So let's just keep in mind $1.08 million. Just keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the video. I kind of already alluded to this, but I will be totally fair here. He talks a big game, but you know what? I have no problem with that. If he can back it up, then more power to him. Hey, that's great. Also, no one is perfect. Bad picks happen. That's just how things go, especially in the world of penny stocks. Bad picks happen. So I'll give him a pass or two. This is not me twisting anything. The 5 case studies we go over were his picks. Again, this is all taken from the public source. In this case, it was Twitter. I actually also yesterday asked for people out in the Twitter community, hey, what were the dates on some of his, picks and all that. So it's kind of a group effort just to, because I don't want to assign him a date that he didn't really cover it, because that wouldn't be fair to him. So I wanted to get things, nailed down in terms of what dates did he do certain ticker symbols. So all this is taken from things in the public. I'm not just making these up. I'm not going and finding certain charts and then saying, yeah, I'll just use this one as an example. These are not examples. These are case studies that actually happened. And let's see if he will make us bow down to him and call him daddy. Let's be fair about it. So first case study we're going to look at is ICNM. And what I want to point out here is that this was the day before. Notice the day before he released. What happened with the volume? Some volume increased. So it's one of those things where I wonder if Big Money Mike or maybe some of his inside crew, or if he even has a crew, I have no idea. But that's odd. Right before the pick, volume increased like that. Interesting. Could we have some front loading here? If you're not familiar with what front loading is what you see right here. Volume all of a sudden increases. I mean, look at this. It's not, this thing was barely getting anything, and then all of a sudden volume increases the day before this hot stock pick is released. Things that make you go, Next day, there is when the pick is released. And you know what? Let's give some credit where credit is due. The price gapped up here, made a big run. However, you can see the sellers did show up and knock the price back down here. However, from where it opened, a nice size gain. But, if you read through his tweets, it's always, this is just day one. And again, this is not, go back and you can read through his Twitter history. He does the same thing over and over. So day one, not too bad. But he keeps talking about how great things are going to be, So, okay, well, this is day one of many days of greatness, according to how he, talks on Twitter. The next day, all right, it held up fine. It's consolidating, whatever, stocks have to consolidate. And then right here, look at that. Look at all the volume that came in on this day. So here was the pump. Here was the dump. A couple days later, look at all that volume. Now, I did give some credit where credit was due, but that was kind of some nice credit. Why do I say that? Well, let's actually look at the numbers. So on the day he released it, it did 19 million shares. And I'm being polite. Let's just say the average share price traded was 0.023. Well, that total dollar volume was $447,000. Now, remember the Big Money Mike number, 1.08 million. Not even close to that number. So, yeah, the price made some movement, but that's not a whole lot of volume. That's not a whole lot of volume to work with. You would have needed to be extra, extra careful. And the other thing was, if you were listening to him because of his Twitter post, then you were thinking that, even though it was up here, that it was just getting started, that the party was just starting. Heck, the party just hadn't even started yet. So if you had listened to all the Twitter and, all that, you still wouldn't have sold up here. So yeah, you know, it was a nice movement, but did it ever last at all? And of course, the final point I want to go through and see if we can see a trend is, again, all his words, not mine. He has the same thing every time. He's buying more shares. He's averaging down. He's loading up on the shares. Well, if he loaded up on these shares, look where the price now is. Oblivion. So he lost a lot of money on this one. But again, okay, fine. Not the greatest play, but bad picks happen. So we'll give him a pass on this one. But keep in mind, 447,000. All right, that wasn't quite the 1.08 million. The next case study we're going to look at, one of his picks, SSFT. Now again, this was the period before the pick was released. Notice that volume. Look at that volume stair-stepping up. Look at the price actually stair-stepping up. It's almost like somebody knows something is coming and is buying shares before they tell all their followers. I don't know. Just odd. Seems odd that the chart has nothing, and then all of a sudden volume really starts to come in, and then more closer to the pick, right there, starts to increase. Seems a little bizarre to me. So let's see what happens on the day of the pick. Complete disaster. He announces it goes up basically half a penny, and then from there crashes, bounces back up, but a total disaster. And then it's one of those things where he does the same thing. I'm buying more. This is just the beginning. He's blaming others. He's lying, but he's going to be buying more shares. So let's say he bought more shares. And remember, this is just the beginning. Everything will recover fine. Well, let's see what happens. Ouch. Well, again, if he bought more shares, then he took another huge hit right here. That's a pretty big hit in his pocketbook if he was truly buying shares like he said he did. Let's look at the numbers. So on the day it was released, it did 399,000 shares. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Keep in mind, the price went all the way down as low as 7 cents, but we'll say that all the shares traded at 15 cents. So that gave us an amount in terms of dollar volume of $60,000. Remember what the magic number was? 1.08 million? Not even close. Let's go on to another one. Our next one is FRZT. Again, this is the day before the pick was released. Notice all this volume. Basically nothing, right? And then look what happens as it gets within basically the week before the pick. Volume all of a sudden starts to creep upwards. And in fact, the price actually starts to creep upwards too. Odd how that works. Has anybody noticed a trend about his picks and what happens before? It's almost like somebody's buying beforehand so they can dump on the pump. I don't know. So the day it's released, okay, gap up. A gap up is worthless unless you're one of the people that were loading up. Then yeah, you love the gap up. And again, well, I'll give some credit where credit's due. It did make a nice run. However, the way he talks, the way he makes everything sound, this should have been, this was just the beginning. But look what happens. The dump begins as the price moves all the way back down there and basically closes right where it opens. On big volume there. Now again, same MO. I'm buying more. This is just getting started. I'm loading the boat, all that stuff. And let's see what happens. Collapses again. Back down it goes. So it's one of those things where, all right, he just took another huge financial hit if he was indeed truly buying and, getting all those shares like he always says he was. Let's look at the numbers on the day of the release. 28.8 million. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Say average share price was 13, so up around this area. So that would give the amount of the dollar volume, 375,000. What was that magic number? 1.08 million? Again, not even close. And I promise there's a reason I keep bringing this up. The next one, QMCI. Again, I think you're learning the drill. Nothing, and then all of a sudden, oh look, the day before, all of a sudden a big volume spike. It's almost like somebody's buying some shares. It's almost like somebody's loading up in anticipation of a pump so they can dump. Well, let's see what happens on the day of the release. Well, there's the release, another gap up. Sure, it ran, got to give some credit. Nice to see prices move, but just as fast as it ran up, it collapsed back down and then actually closed below where it opened on big volume. So there's the dump, but hey, again, I'm buying more. Says the same thing on Twitter every time, buying more, and then let's see what happens to this one. You can see it once again, just fades into oblivion. So another huge financial hit. What is this, number 4? He must have a cash tree out back. I don't know where he's getting all this money to keep on buying more of all of his picks. Again, we'll look at the numbers. On the day of the release, 3.8 million. Give him the benefit of the doubt, say all those shares traded at 12 cents. So the amount of the dollar volume, $465,000. Okay, a little short of that 1.08 million. Let's look at one more case study. And this is the one that kind of broke the camel's back for me. This is just disgusting. This is, like I said, you want to know what a no tradable opportunity looks like? Let's see what happens with this one. Again, take note, no volume, no volume, no volume. Oh, hey, look, the time period right before the pick is released, especially right here, look at that volume increase. It's almost like somebody's loading up so they can dump into the pump. So let's see what happens on the day of the pick. And this is just, look at, I mean, this is disgusting. Gap up a little bit, barely runs, and then just totally dumps out, and down, down, down it goes. And you can see the next day, which is today, as of the filming of the video here, it just continues to get hammered, and it's only going to drift back into oblivion. Let's look at the numbers real quick. Did 29.3 million shares yesterday when he announced it. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that majority of them happened at 2 cents. That's $587,000. The biggest one so far, but is it even close to 1.08 million? Not even close. So we were talking about that number, 1.08 million. Well, it's one or the other. As we saw, none of his plays hit that big money Mike number. In fact, none of it even came close. So it's one of these two things. Number one, he is a liar and is buying fake followers on Twitter to mislead newbies into thinking he is some big hot shot. The other possibility is the followers are all real, because I have no idea if they're fake or not. That would be a lie on my part if I said I know for sure they're fake. I don't know. But if they are real, then that just tells us that no one listens to him, and apparently people just follow him for the comedic relief because I don't know, I don't know. But nobody listens to him is the bottom line, which is kind of a hit to his ego because he says how great he is, but apparently nobody listens to him if those are real. So if your followers are real, nobody's listening to you, because all we assumed was that 5% of your people listen to you, and that each of those 5% only hit 15, and that would give you $1.08 million that should happen in the stock. And as you saw, 1.08 million never happened in any of his stock picks. So it's one of those two. He's either a liar or nobody respects him enough to listen to him. Not even 5% respect him enough to put $15 into one of his plays. You could look at it like that. I don't know, but it's one of those two solutions. And keep in mind, this is not my opinion. We just saw the mathematical facts about this. Numbers don't lie, but perhaps some people do. Now I'm quickly going to tell the future real quick. When mathematics and facts are staring at pumpers like this, there's only really one thing they can do. And that is just focus on personal tax. So get ready for Big Money Mike. He's probably going to tell me, or not probably, he will attack me personally. He's probably going to tell me and everybody else how ugly I am, but hey, thank goodness I found at least one woman in the world that found me attractive enough to marry me, so I lucked out on that one. But get ready to hear how ugly I am. He's going to lie, and then he's going to lie some more. In fact, he's already started, and he fell perfectly into my little trap that I set for him. I let him know that this video was coming because I was hoping he'd kind of, bite on the bait out there and, help me prove my point. So thank you, Big Money Mike, for helping me, and a hook, line, and sinker there. So he's already put out one tweet in anticipation. Clay Trader is a paid punk boy from iHub. According to him, I'm paid for every single post I do on iHub, which is just completely false. But if you listen to him, he'll lead you to believe that every single time I post an iHub or post a video chart, I am paid. The second part is he sells how-to ebooks that have nothing to do with making money in penny stocks. Crook. Well, first off, I don't sell ebooks. I sell video courses, and I sell courses that deal with technical analysis, which can definitely be used in penny stocks. Not to mention, I have a whole course about penny stocks, the Penny Stock Survival Guide. So, again, two things where maybe he's not lying. Maybe he thinks this is the case, but that's not excuse because the alternative is ignorance. And for somebody that talks such a big game about how great they are at picking stocks, in order to be a good stock picker, you got to be good at doing research, right? But the research he's done on me is quite ignorant because, I am not paid for every single post I do on iHub, and I don't sell ebooks. And well, you get the point. So I'm going to tell the future here. He'll make fun of me. He'll lie. He'll probably come up with other excuses. But when the mathematical facts are staring him in the face like they are, it is what it is. So. Again, a lot of you probably already know this, and hopefully I could provide some entertainment. But if you're new, read through his Twitter. Who knows? And the reason I didn't really give away his Twitter, and I'm just calling him Big Money Mike, is because who knows, he could change. He could try to, change a Twitter name, alias, whatever. But if you see it out there, don't take my word for it. Read through his latest Twitters or tweets, whatever they're called, and go back and look at the past history of his plays. And there's a reason he focuses on newbies. But hopefully, like I said, and I'll say it again, if I can save just one person, even $15, $10, $1, then I consider this video a success, and I feel very good about the time I've spent doing it. So hopefully you found this entertaining. If you want to learn anything more about any of this sort of stuff, claytrader.com is where I hang out. But thanks again for those that encouraged me to make this, and hopefully you got something out of it.